Chapter 1. Typically me. Izuku's Pav unless said otherwise. There was enough humiliation that I took over the course of the year. However, there are times even I say that it is enough but people are still going after it. Why? Who knows why? Maybe it was because I was different than them? Or it was because people were just special and different. Sometimes some piece of trashes of humanity are born that actually need to lower someone's self-esteem and their worth down to feel better. Then there are others who loved to just scream and take it off on someone else. I was usually that someone else. Yeah, as always, this day was just fantastic. What should I say? I was quirkless yet no one ever thought it was right to actually help me out. Me. People are just trash. I was honestly just pissed. There was nothing that could have made it any better. This day was already shitty as it was. I went to school and then got bullied and Bakugo hit me once again. My side hurt since I was sure that he bruised it, and then there was the fact that my father was the reason why we actually moved to this damn city. Not only that, but if we never would have moved here then that thing would have never happened at all. In contrary to most of the peoples, I wasn't living in the city but had to take a train for half an hour since I was actually living outside the city close to the forest and it was truly peaceful here. Still, it was not the same thing. People used to call me a stupid bean and sometimes even just mud person. I don't get why they came up with these nicknames at all. It was not as if anyone from my family was actually doing anything with farming or has a farm. We were just living in the forest because of my mother. Well, used to live there because of her. Now we are just living here because this was our home. We didn't know it any better but it was still hurting. Each time I was going home, each time I was entering the house and each time I was passing the living room. I could see the scene in front of me. It was horrible and it was something I never wanted to remember nor see again, but there was just no helping it at all. I mean, I was after all living right in that house. I was passing the living room each and every day. Me. Shit. As I was thinking about what happened that day, I suddenly fell down to the ground. Of course I was on my stupid way back, and not only that but I actually was already in the forest where I had to walk just about 10 minutes. For some reasons my stupid mind thought it was a good idea to actually run, and that was how I started running. Thought as much as I thought it was a good idea, it was one of the worst ideas I had since I'd tripped over a root and fell face first into a puddle of water. Me. This day can't be any better at all. Of course I was disappointed, but what should I do? I can't just leave it be, and I couldn't also just undo what I did. I couldn't return time back and I couldn't clean myself up from all that dirt. How should I do that? After all, I was quirkless. Me. First Kachan and now this. There was one thing I hated the most, and that was social interaction. No matter how much I had to go to school, I hated reacting and acting around people. No one could understand me and no one was ever paying attention to me, or otherwise I wouldn't be in this kind of situation at all. Me. Just great. It took me a bit of time, but slowly I got back on my feet and started moving again. As if I haven't learned anything at all, I started running once again till I got to the house. Luckily this time, I didn't fell down, and even if, I thought it was not mattering anymore since I was already dirty enough. This was how I got home, and the first thing I saw was my father. He looked fine and he had a frying pan in his hand. I guess food is ready, and he was decking the table in the living room. It was after all also our dining room. We were not as fancy to have a special table where we eat. Our table was just this one, and it was always reminding me of something it shouldn't. Dad. What happened to you? Me. Don't ask. Dad. Are you sure? Me. HMPF. Was it not obvious enough that I didn't wanted to talk at all? Not everyone could be as perfect as he could be? I mean, my father was a police officer and he had a truth-telling quirk as well, and there was just me. I was a huge disappointment. Not only didn't I had any quirk, but I also didn't had any talent. I was not like my father. He was a great detective and he was the best there is in his department. Dad. Alright, no need to be a munchkin, now go and get a shower. Me. Alright, Dad. Food is on the table, so try to be quick. Me. Never. Dad. I know you are lying. Me. And, so what? Dad. Peef. It always worked to make my father smile. Sometimes, like today, there were just times where I didn't wanted to tell my father anything at all, and he would of course always know whenever I would lie or not. His stupid quirk was just built like that, but now imagine someone like me who didn't had any quirk. I hated it. I wanted to be alone. Sometimes there were just moments I wanted and needed him, and sometimes there times I wanted to be all alone. What now? I knew lying was useless, and I learned to give up on lies and started to actually just be very obvious whenever I was lying, and just in moments like now where it was obvious that I would actually do the opposite. It was at these moments that my father would start laughing or snickering. At least I could make his day a bit better.